Very good introduction on Kannada. Okay, very nice. So now we come to the 288th verse on Upasana number 2. That is what to practice. So earlier we had discussed on some practice. So any chance of practicing that?
Can you say again what practicing?
No, the other day we spoke about the practice. So every day we are going to practice.
Yeah, for me, I'm continuous now. I'm practicing.
Okay.
Whatever I do, immediately Vivekachudamani comes in front of me, and tough situations, and I go through. I just trying to apply that.
Okay.
Because earlier, tough situation was equal to emotion, worrying and all that. Now it is just Vivekachudamani. A huge shift has happened. Immediately when I start thinking about Vivekachudamani, I don't know what is worry.
Okay.
Worst case what? Worst case is what? You may lose whatever you have. That's the worst case. So Vivekachudamani says that is what we should be.
So there are two spaces. One is an infinite space and one is the smaller space. And the smaller space is all of us, individual, and the larger space is the space. In that smaller space exists an ego that will say I am. And there is a supreme self in which is enlivening everything. So now what you need to do is to meditate on that big one. So the small one get dissolved. This is relatively easy and relatively intellectual, but you need to drop the intellect at one time. Otherwise, the ego will shine forth and it doesn't allow the consciousness which is there in everyone to shine. So this is the second way of doing. So he compares it with the pot. Ghata is pot. And he compares the space within the Ghatakasham is the space within that pot with Mahakasha, which is the bigger Akasha. So in the pot, considering yourself to be the pot, you have a space, so you can store whatever you want. Just like we are having breakfast, lunch, dinner, and we are going here, there, and all that is an individual entity, which is a space occupied. So when the person dies, that space is removed. So no longer that person is capable of going here and there and eating and all that. What remains of that person is only the memory that how he was. So the space is gone. The space then becomes part of a infinite space. In that space, pot, there is an identifier which is called as pot. And that identifier pot will create all kind of problems. So what we need to do as a meditation is to look beyond the pot. So don't consider yourself to be the pot. So what it means is that when people come for a meeting, let's say stand-up meeting or this meeting or some other meeting which has been called, consider all of them, including yourself, to be the pot. So pot makes sound. So they are making sound and you are also making the same sound. So there is only sound which is created. So they all will say, I have created the sound. And you will also say, I have created a sound. But all of that I taken together is one single I, which is the one which has enabled the sound to come in that pot. So if we are able to stay in that, he says, Tushnim, remaining, Bhava Sada Mune. Now he uses a word called Muni. Any idea what is the meaning of Muni?
Muni is the one person, he is fully into, for example, Bahubali is also Muni. He is completely into Vairagya and focusing on spirituality, dhyana, fully. I think he is not so much available for outside world. Jnana Nirata is Muni, right?
Yeah, no, that is the end result of it.
End result. Oh, Mumukshu to Muni then?
No, Mumukshatva is not Muni. Okay, no problem. Muni is from a root word mun, which means to bend.
Bend, okay.
So Muni means a person who has bended. So what has he bent? Any idea? They are very sharp things and he has bent it. So they don't remain sharp at all. Yeah, this question is for the other two also. It's not only for Bhatt.
Bending what?
Yeah, there are sharp things and he has bent that. So I given a clue also.
Bending all our internal enemies?
Correct. So what are the internal enemies?
That is Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsaya.
Yes, so the first very sharpest pricking feeling is Kama.
Yes.
So when we see an object, immediately we recognize it as a son or a daughter or a wife or a husband or a house or a bank balance or job or whatever it is. And the taste. So sight, sound, taste, touch, smell and thoughts. These are the one which is the most sharp. It just cuts. So we keep on bleeding with Kama. Now it pains. So when it pains, it becomes Krodha. So the second nail, which is even more sharper but hot, it's like red iron or red. When you burn something and then you find that red flame, that is Krodha. The yellow flame is Lobha. So it heats up. So Lobha is a heating element. And then Moha is blue in color. So it burns equally, but it is ignorance. So that also can transform itself into liberation or enlightenment, and that same blue color is enlightenment as well as ignorance. So we have Moha. So that is equally heat oriented but not sharp. It doesn't have a sharp touch. It has a soft touch. So Moha is always very soft to touch, and that's the reason all relationships are very soft. We make relationship considering it to be a very soft one. So I make a relationship with a wife because it's a very soft one, and the wife also makes a relationship because she considers me to be very soft, and same thing with employer and employee, and each one is the same. And then there is mother. Mother is pink in color. Basically, it makes someone feel so elated that he has so many things or she has so many things to display. So mother problem is to show and display. So it is not sharp, it is not blunt, it is just that nail. It pricks once in a while, but then the prick is so nice that you want to prick it to prick all the time. So it's just like somebody is having this sensation of something biting, and you want somebody to rub that place. Or if you have leg pain or some shoulder pain and you want somebody to massage, even though it is painful, that person massaging is painful when he's pressing it, but it feels so nice. So Mada is like that. Matsarya means stinginess. So this one is like a thick rod. So this one will not go, because you have got so much of it that you don't want to let it go, or I don't want to let it go. So it's a very thick iron rod which doesn't have any pointed anywhere, but you cannot do anything with that. It just stays. So these are the 6 kind of what we can say, sharp things which keeps on cutting us every given day, every given hour, every given minute, till we close our eyes. So Muni is a person who has removed the cutting feeling or the sharpness of Kama, and he has cut off the Krodha, doesn't have that touchy feeling of Lobha, then there is no Moha, because that is completely cut off. Meaning the blue flame is now just a blue flame. It doesn't have anything to do with what he or she thinks it was. Then with the Moha not being there, Mada, Matsarya cannot survive. So what happens in the last one, that thick iron rod, it just gets melted away, because it requires the remaining 5 to exist. So one will lead to removal of other. So if we remove Kama, Krodha will not be there. Krodha will remove Lobha. Lobha will then remove Moha, then Mada and Matsarya. So he has bent it. And that's the reason it is called as Muni. So we can observe within ourselves, is it pricking? So let's say coffee comes and then I drink with enjoyment, and I would like to immediately go for the second cup of coffee. Just had a few minutes ago, and then again I feel I need to drink coffee. Then Kama. It's very sharp, very pricky, and it bleeds. Now I need the taste which was there earlier. So now I'm searching for that. So it doesn't happen, then it becomes Krodha. So it keeps on going like that. So it is with everything we do. From taking bath to brushing teeth to dressing to some people are so obsessed about their homes. They want to keep everything in one particular place. They don't want it to move somewhere else. And they are very critical of their own self, and they want to ensure that not even a white strand hair is shown. So they will ensure that everything is properly covered up. So that's the sharpness of Kama. So when somebody finds that out, that it is not good, so then they get into Krodha. So, and it follows. So it can be with the job, it can be with the home, it can be with the location, it can be with the apartments, or it can be with anything. So we always have these 6. So one needs to look at where the ego comes from. And the ego comes from this 6. unless there is an enjoyer, the enjoyed will never happen. So the enjoyer is the ego. And when there is enjoyment to be enjoyed, so then comes this identification as I in the pot. So it makes sound. So when it makes sound, it makes terrible sound. It makes good sound when it gets it. It makes bad sound when it doesn't get it. So one need to see for oneself which of the 6 are really pricky for each individual and has to work. Then he talks about the third one, wherein supposing the second one is not working, then you look at the third one. From the third one, you make everything as dirt and filth. So let's say I am having a nice cake or a pizza or something, and next day when I go for my nature call, or on the same day, whichever time it is, or I have had a drink, or I had a coffee or a water or juice or whatever it is. So next time I go to the nature call, I need to concentrate on the smell of that thing which is coming out, and try to see whether the same juice or the same thing which I had is coming from there. And can I really have a feeling of taste of what is coming out of it? Then we know that you cannot have it. You cannot even think of it. Then the real you opens up and the false you goes away. So this is to break that karma. So in the pot there is this dirt and filth. So this pot is full of filth which keeps on accumulating every day. So the moment you throw that out, then you are out of it. So the macrocosm, even the microcosm, are to be rejected. Brahmandanamapi pindandanam tyajyatam mala bandhavat. Mala bhanadvat. So you look this as filth. So when I see my son or when I see the wife, it's 2 pots which are standing there. Input is a filth and output is also a filth. And same thing with me. Input is filth and output is filth. And when I see everyone else, it's just filth going inside and filth coming outside. So the karma goes away. When the karma goes away, krodha will not make any sound. When karma and krodha are not there, there is no lobha. Because what is there to possess in the filth? When the lobha goes away, then there is no moha because you have seen the filth. Then when these 4 goes away, then there is nothing to enjoy. Mada is not there. When there is nothing to enjoy, then you will very easily give it up. Because nobody wants to keep the filth. This is the most easy way of getting out of all relationships. The only thing you need to do is whoever coming in front of you should consider that body as a filth, which is truly a filth. From the time that has come out of the womb, especially if somebody has gone for whether a C-section or gone for a normal delivery, would know the kind of filth it comes from. And there are thousands of videos on the internet to really see how the baby comes out. and from which door it comes out. That is also very clear. I don't think so we need to really not know it. We all know it. So that filth door has to be seen, and immediately the karma goes away. So when this karma goes away, you will only see yourself in everyone, because the same consciousness has arrived in all the wombs at once, including as a plant or as a being or as a bird or as a animal or as Deva or Brahma or whatever it is. So Brahmandamapi, Pindandamapi. So if you take the Brahmanda and Pindanda, they both are the same, and they are anda means egg. So it's filth in the egg. So even the Brahmaloka is equivalent to a filth, but a better filth than the human. Animals is even more worse. So Brahmandamapi, Pindandamapi is Tyajyantam Mala Bhandavat. So it is a filthy thing. This is most easiest to work out with. So the only thing we need to do is, when somebody comes, instead of seeing it as a person, you look at the mouth and you can make an assessment on the other side also. Whatever you are eating and whatever he or she is eating is going to end up in the same place, for you as well as for the other person. So the only thing which is making that happen is the consciousness, which is there in you and there in me and there in others. But as far as they are eating, whatever they are eating, when it put in the mouth, it's directly going to go there after extracting the juice from that food. In the same way, the mental food is also same. As soon as we eat something in the knowledge, that ends up in the rare side. So once we use it, example is that I want to give a training program, let's say, and I have around 100 slides, and I'm going to talk for 3 hours. And after 3 hours and after that 100 slides are over, nobody cares. So that is gone. Those 100 slides I did, and they paid me for the sound what I created, and some questions were asked. Again, some sound came in. One sound spoke to another sound, and then both were sound. And after that, some money was transacted, and the money came in, and there ends the matter. So filth in and filth out. So that knowledge is of no use to anyone. So the 3 hours was spent very nicely. So there were a lot of good feedback, let's say, and even an award was given. Fine. As the best speaker, okay, great, and some photograph in some newspapers and magazines and other things. So to make my ego strong, what I could do is I can take that copy and put it on WhatsApp status, put it on Facebook, and even I can buy a website where I can then say that these are my accolades for whatever I've done, and go on to LinkedIn, update my profile with all of these awards and rewards or whatever I've been given. But somebody cares and somebody doesn't care, because it's a dead meat. There is nothing in that. There is no essence in that. So 3 hours of my speech created sound, and they listened and they asked questions, and after they asked question, I answered, and after that the 100 slides were over, and that's all. So the same thing in Brahmanda also, and Pindanda. Both are ghata, pots, just make sounds. So the practice here is to make the input mouth, output, rare, equal to same. So this another beautiful way of coming out of kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. This works. This works for those people who have lot of kama. So this is a good thing. So example is that my own case, if I apply and then if I see somebody and I recognize that person to be somebody, and then I have lot of laurels and I keep on polishing myself and telling him and projecting that person, or I connect that person to be my wife or son or daughter or this or that, that clearly shows that I am a kama person. So now I have to do this practice because this is useful for me. The third one, that's the 288th verse, is for those people who have ego. And the first one is for those people who love their body. So these are the three things what we saw. So one needs to apply either one of them, or if we have all of it, then we have to apply all the four. If that is done, then the 290th verse talks about Chidatmani. Yes, but
this says Mata Pitror Malodbhutam Malamamsa Samayam Upahu.
correct.
Tyaktva Chandalavadhuram Brahme Bhuya Kriti Bhava. That means your body is made out of all these kalmashas and with the mamsa, and it says that like how you keep Chandala away, you just keep this body away.
Yes.
But every time you use this body in the beginning of this chapter, it says that this Janma with this body is amazing.
Yes.
And every time it says when you sit for something, Shuchir Bhuta, both body as well as your mind, then you do that. So you cannot throw this body away. That's equivalent to suicide. I think meaning is you have to use this body in a proper way, right?
But the thing is like this. Initially, he talks about having the human birth. Out of all the Chandala bodies, human birth is the best.
Yes.
Now you have come this far, where you have seen that the 5 sheaths are of no importance. So now you have to drop this body.
But the body will get dropped automatically with the prarabdha. Okay, when you reach that ultimate goal, it automatically drops, right? It is not forcefully dropping it. Purpose is not body. Purpose is higher goal.
No, that's what.
Body is just an instrument.
No, that is correct. These exercises, what he is talking about, is for people who have realized.
Okay. Then it's right.
If we are,
correct.
if we are not yet realized, then it becomes difficult.
Then this is very tough to understand.
Yes.
After realization, perfect. Because then there is no purpose of this body.
Yes.
Unnecessary you are keeping it.
No, you are not going to commit suicide or anything, but it is like this. You are not associating the body. You have seen the filth. So he gives the first one. So let's say somebody has come to my home. Let's make a very nice decorative thing. So now let's say now this Dasara is going to start. So there will be a lot of people who will wear their beautiful saris from Kanchivaram to Mysore silk to this one, that one, and blouse in different format and all that, and the painting everywhere, and then tattoo and all that. And let's say some set of females have come to my home in their fantastic looking saris, let's say, as an example. Now I'm sitting in the living room and they all have come. and let's say they are talking to me. What is my impression of seeing those women? What's the first impression?
As soon as you see that beauty, your munitva is gone.
This is what is the problem, because I'm not.
I got it. Use this formula. Perfect.
So when I see these women, I need to look at how they came. They have come from the impurities from Mata Pita. And impurities only. That is, that intercourse was full of impurity. There was not even an ounce of goodness in that. And that created Mala Mamsa Mayam Vapuhu. Tyaktva Chandalavad Duram. So now you see all of these ladies as deteriorating flesh. And then you are far away from there. Otherwise, Kama is going to prick immediately. It doesn't wait.
Yes.
It doesn't.
Yeah, see, now this is for Muni, that you just don't use the body because it is not good. But for, see, one body, one Jivatma, in this birth, there is no liberation has happened. Naturally, it will go for another birth. If it's lucky, it will get into another human birth. Okay, now our study says, once a person is died, then he is Pretatma, maybe for 12 days or so. Once he reaches its destination, then it is called Pitru. Pitru is above Devas. Pitru is what Pitru Paksha, just over. They are above Devas. I just read some article yesterday, nice one. And always, that's the reason we always first give, any function doing, initially we take care of Pitru Tarpana, then only will come for Devarthana. That means Devas are next to them, then human being. So when a person reaches Pitru, but that person is still not liberated, he has to come back to same human birth he has to take. Then only he will reach moksha. So that means the people, those who are not munis, human birth is very important to reach that munitva state, right?
Correct.
But I'm sorry to be going inside what you are saying. Of course, it doesn't matter whom you consider as Deva or Pitru. It is not so. It is Deva is above Pitru is what you already see. When you are doing the Shraddha also, you do that actually. There is a offering for Deva and there is offering for the Pitru whom you have brought down.
Correct.
That all Pitru you will always feed afterwards. Meaning first you will put your Jarivara in Savya and then put it for the Deva. Then you will go to the Upper Savya and put it for the Pitrus. So you will first give it to the Devas and then give it to the Pitrus.
Yeah, because yesterday I read that article, that's the reason I got this doubt. I think there very clearly one statement says Pitru are above Devas.
Actually, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, both are.
I'm not saying that it is so. These rituals are very important. I'm just saying that in these because we are also always looking at these lokas, no, 7 lokas and 14 lokas.
Yeah.
Pitru Loka is not above the Deva Loka. It is below the Deva Loka. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Maybe I have not done any study. I just read one article. That's the reason I got this.
No, mine is not study. Mine is seeing and.
Even I was thinking, till yesterday it is Deva is this one up, then it's Pitru.
Yeah, Vilas, you can tell.
Vilas, if you know, you can tell us.
No, he is talking always about the lokas, right? Yeah. 7 lokas. Vilas has told so many times about these 7 lokas. 7 and 14 lokas. So, Vilas, you can correct me if I'm wrong, whether Deva Loka is considered to be.
Yes, Deva. See, there is one thing we need to understand is there is Pitru Loka. Okay, that has got nothing to do with Deva Loka being above or Pitru Loka being above. There is a Loka called Pitru Loka, which is exactly a waiting period. So yesterday
right, but saying that doesn't have any grades, then we are talking about see, you have told something about your experience. You went from here to there, and then you went to Vishnu Loka. Vishnu Loka is higher than, meaning.
Yes.
First thing is that there is a grade.
Yes, there is a grade.
At least which you have indicated.
No, there is a grade. So, there is a grade, absolutely agreeable. So, Devaloka is the highest point of Kamaloka, where the Pitru Loka comes below that. If you take the entire Kamaloka, Pitru Loka is also in Kamaloka, but then the Devaloka is above the Pitru Loka. Okay. Now you can do this test, but for yourself. So when you are doing Shraddha for your mother, or for your father, if you are doing it, then when you do the Savya, you take a banana and you pray the god, whichever god, and then keep it to one side. And when you are doing Apasavya, where you put that, take that, the other one, right? What it's in English, what it is called as. Yellow has. What is the English word? I'm not getting that. Anyway, so that one, when you do the Apasavya, you keep another piece of banana just like that, okay, as a test. So don't go to this place to do it. You can do it at your home. Wait for 15 minutes. Okay. Now when you are putting on the right hand side, you think about your mother or father, and when you are looking at the Deva, then you take it onto your left hand side. Let us say you put for Deva, or right hand side you put for Deva, and left hand side for your mother or father. Keep it for 15 minutes and then eat the banana of the Deva. Look at that taste. And the taste what you get from the Pitru, you taste that. You will find huge difference between the taste of the same banana, same piece of banana. When it was called as a Deva, it smells different, or it tastes different, and when you taste is like a Pitru, it tastes different. This is a test, you can do it rather than believing on some report or something, some article. You can test it out. So when you offer to the Deva, the smell is fragrance. When you offer to the Pitru, it spoils. This is what it is. And also you would have seen when they put that rice they serve rice to everyone, right? Within the family members. Right? Let us say there was some prasada of a god. Okay? That is also put, and this rice is put. Let's say that is also rice only without sugar. Let's say, just to make it even more fascinating, let's say they put saying that this is the rice offered to a Deva, some whatever Deva, like case of Durga, let's say. And this rice is of the Pitru. Now you taste both of them, you will find difference. So what it shows is that Devaloka is higher than the Pitru Loka.
There are so many rituals also when you are doing this also, when you are serving that to the family members, the Pitru Sesha, when you are serving to the family members, you generally do after the Pitravati is done.
Yes,
because Pitravati is there where you are giving it to the Devas, meaning from your rice you are giving it to you are offering to the Devas. You don't want to put the Pitru Sesha inside it and then offer. To do it before doing that. So always you are allowed to do the distribution of the Pitru Sesha only after the offering to the god has been done.
Yes, that is correct. So that article is wrong.
Yeah, this is written by Ganesh Bhatta, Professor Kabuta, Sanskrita College. He has done any mistake. It's a gross mistake then.
No, you can test it out yourself. Forget about that report. You can do it yourself.
Because I was thinking till yesterday it was like that. As soon as he told me, then I thought this may be right. Because before starting any function also, either marriage or something, you ensure that these Pitrus will always bless you.
Okay, so yesterday, but we had a huge discussion between myself, wife, and mother-in-law and my son about what is Pitru Paksha or this Mahalya Amavasya.
Yes.
Okay, so we had a huge discussion. I think we started at 8 o'clock and we ended at 10 p.m. 2 hours discussion on how we are Pitrus and what happens and how one enjoys or suffers and all that. So we had a very nice talk on that. So I don't want to take 2 hours of it. I'll just say in 2 minutes about what it is.
Yeah.
Is Mahalya Amavasya what we actually do? It's like this. It's the what is difference between Preta and Pitru, you need to know. Do you know what is the difference?
Yeah, see, Preta is yet to reach some destination. That is Preta. That is after death till you reach that stage, that 12 or 13 days. Once you have that last day, 13th day, you will have that Vishnu, this one, last day, Dharmodaka or something you call. So from that day you are putting that soul along with Sapindikarana. You are making with the Pitamaha, Prapitamaha and that 3 generations together. You are putting there, and that is what Pitraloka. And after that, every year you are doing your first 1 year is Masika, and after that every year is annual Shraddha. So this is a system. So in that, the belief is that the soul which is reached there, father, mother means you have to do. Now during this Mahalaya Paksha, you are doing it for everyone, including your maid or maybe it may be some around you, maybe cows. For everyone, you are doing the same, this one. You are satisfying them by giving these tarpanas. And generally it is done in a kutumba, the head of that kutumba, in that house this happens on the death of their father or father's day, I think. That Tithi comes out of 15 days, that one of that day. So this is what you call after till Amavasya. That is means Krishna Paksha. And the Mahalaya Amavasya is Mahalaya. In that day, if you don't know the Tithi also, on that day you do at least Tarpana. This is what it says. And after that, today onwards is Navaratri. Completely brighter side we are going.
Right. So I was explaining to my mother-in-law and my wife really how it is. So it is like this. The first 3 days of death, right? It is Preta. Okay, now what is the status of a Preta is that it remembers. So it circles around wherever it had gone.
Correct.
Okay, and what they do is after that body is put in flame or whatever way they are going to do the cremation, they put that Atma in the stone. And they will say that don't keep the stone inside your home. That means you cannot bring the Preta to your home. So generally
you have to keep it somewhere outside. Yeah. Then you connect it on thread. Yes.
Yes. So now you keep it outside. So what is the symbolic meaning is slowly it lets go of its bondage to that home or to the people around it.
Yes.
Okay, on the 5th day, they take that stone to that place where they then do the karya.
Shila. Correct.
Okay, now on the 10th day, when they do the dharmodaka, what it means is that the stone no longer can associate itself with any relative, because by giving the dharma udaka, dharma means your punya, whatever your good deeds you have done, and you are blessing that Preta. Now it's time for you to carry on further. So on the 13th day, when you do that Sapindikarana through keeping the Vishnupada, what it really means is that now you have delivered that Preta to Vishnu. So now it is the property of Vishnu and no longer is a property of us. From that day onwards, it is Pitru. Pitru means one who has to safeguard himself. Pitru also means forefather. Pitru also means father. Pitru also means that one who is head. So now the karma is the head for it. And karma is only the bandhu for that Pitru. Now it has landed itself into Pitru Loka. Now there is a problem. Once it becomes Pitru, it cannot become Preta again.
Yes.
So now
It's already reached.
now how can you then bring it every year? You cannot do it. After 13th day, you are not supposed to do anything. Because you have given it to the Vishnu. So what you can do then onwards is to bless or is to transfer merit to all living beings, because one day you are going to land yourself in Pitru Loka.
Oh, okay.
So what I need to do is not wait for Mahalya Amavasya, but I need to send my good wishes to myself, who myself is a Pitru. So I was telling my mother-in-law, she is now 78 years. So I told her, assume that your life is 80 years. Now your life is 80 years, since you have only 2 years left to become a Pitru. So first you need to work out where you are going. It's like you have oxygen supply is a problem in an aeroplane, and then oxygen mask will come down, and then they announce, you should not put oxygen mask on others unless you put it on yourself. In the same way, we all have to work towards our own Pitru sadhana and then help others. So what I need to do is to elevate myself and look at all the Pitrus, all the living beings, and know that they are very soon going to become Pitru. Can be animal, can be bird, can be human, can be anything. So they will all become Pitru in one day. So I was telling my mother-in-law, you have 2 years left. In my case, I have 31 years left. I have got 21 years left. Okay, and in my son's case, he has 59 years left. And in my wife's case, she has, let's say, 21, means she has 23 years left. That's all is left to become Pitru.
Yes.
Now we have to work out on our sadhana. Because after reaching Pitru, you can't come back.
Yeah.
So I was telling her.
Well, that's one question here. When you go there, see, you have some relations with all your relations. It may be family relation, it can be social relation. When you go to that Pitru Loka, is there a mechanism to identify each other?
No, there is no. You can't.
Okay.
Pitru means it is just a living being waiting for its opportunity to come back to this world, or whichever world it has to go.
Oh, Pitru means it will come back. Come back to any of the 14 lokas.
Yes, any of the 14 loka. It can go up, it can go down, it can go in the same place or wherever it is. So first and foremost, we need to know the difference between Preta, Atma and Pitru. They both are not the same.
Yeah, Preta is a traveling.
No,
Human being.
Preta is a being which still associates with itself.
Got it. But it is not reached that Pitru.
Yes,
From here to there. But it can take many years also, like Brahma Rakshasa and we call. That means
why
that
Brahma
person has
Rakshasa?
not become.
No. Why Brahma Rakshasa? Even today, if somebody is so much associated with their property, they will not go from that place. Even though they have done all the Pitru Paksha, everything has been done. They will remain in that place only. It is the desire to stay back what makes that stay back. See, now the problem is that this body is gone, so we are doing antima samskara plus that whatever rituals. But truly speaking, it is left to the being to decide whether to go to Pitraloka or not. It can remain as a Preta forever. As long as its energy is not exhausted, it will remain as a Preta. So let's say, as an example, one person was very much, what I can say, craving for his property. He will never be able to get out of that. So even though his son would have done all the karya, but from that property he will never go. He will remain as Preta.
Okay. Yeah, I have to join a meeting now. We can continue. Interesting one.
Yes, we will continue the same
It doesn't mean
topic
not
tomorrow.
spiritual, this is in between.
Yes. So we will
But
go.
this is also important for us. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So
It's
then we will-
connected to the Muni and definition and that Kama Krodha. So, what happens after death, this gives some clarity.
Okay. All right then.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Then, yeah, bye. Bye everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.